Hey, welcome back to Stories with Dave. I'm your host, Dave, of course. And if you're new here, this is what we do. I read you interesting stories from Reddit while I play Minecraft, build some stuff on this new world, actually. And no scary stories, no screaming, no stress, just calm. Something you can put on in the background while you study, while you wind down, or while you fall asleep. Today, we've got some pretty good ones for you, and we've got a little bit of everything. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so our first Reddit story is from r/glow-ups, and it goes, thought it was too late to turn my life around. It wasn't. In February 2022, I weighed 381 pounds. For my European audience, that's 170 kilos. I never weighed at my biggest, so it may have been closer to 400. I was also abusing alcohol nightly. At the time, I'd been living in South Korea, working as an English teacher for about 4 years. I really let myself go, especially during 2020 to 2021. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people did that, especially during COVID. Before that, I had lifted weights seriously from ages 18 to 24, mostly bodybuilding focused, and less seriously from 15 to 18. My weight was usually in the 220, 230 pound range before things started going downhill in early 2017. 220 pounds is about 100 kg, just for reference. A breakup hit me harder than I knew how to admit at the time. Old emotional stuff I'd avoided for years started catching up to me. My drinking got out of control. I stopped lifting. I stopped taking care of myself. And I stopped believing my life was going anywhere. As long as I was good at my job, things seemed fine. But underneath that, I felt completely disconnected from who I used to be. Like I had lost control over my body, my mind, and my sense of self. Fast forward to now, I've lost 170 plus pounds. Damn, that's a lot. Got a handle on alcohol, rebuilt my health, and changed my life in ways I genuinely did not think were possible. The physical transformation was obviously a huge part of it, but the emotional side was just as important. For a long time, I thought the answer was just to force myself to be more disciplined, eat better, work out harder, stop messing up, get it together. But what actually happened was slowing down to understand why I had disconnected from myself in the first place. I had to rebuild trust with myself one step at a time. I had to stop treating every imperfect day like proof that I was hopeless. I had to learn how to take responsibility for my life without drowning myself in shame. The habits mattered, of course. Movement, nutrition, lifting, consistency, all of it mattered. But the habits only started sticking when they stopped feeling like punishment and started feeling like a way back to myself. And he continues to say, I'm posting this because I know there are people out there who feel like they've gone too far, waited too long, or messed up things too badly to come back from it. I really believe that too. I didn't think I'd ever get a handle on the drinking. I knew I was probably going to die young if I kept going the way I was. But I reached out for help from a friend who was a coach, and he helped me start believing in myself again. That changed absolutely everything. It's never ever too late. You can come back from a lot more than you think. That's actually some inspirational stuff right there. Okay, so this next story is from r/best of Redditor updates. I'm a 23-year-old female, and my boyfriend, also 23 male, of 1 year, is bad at everything, and it's making me lose respect for him. Okay, so I'm going crazy in my head here because I don't know if I'm just the world's hugest bitch or what. Basically, my boyfriend, let's call him Steve, is just not good at doing anything. Wait, that's not true. He's good at outdoorsy stuff and is apparently pretty good at his job in catering. Aside from that, for example, I feel like I can't do anything with him that involves any skill or even slightly competitive because one, he's a sore loser, and two, he never wins. When I stayed with his family over Christmas, they had a Scrabble board, and because it was snowy and boring, of course I tried to pass the time playing Scrabble with him. And I'm not even a good Scrabble player, and I still crushed him every game. And eventually, after a few, I couldn't play anymore because I had to spend like 10 minutes after every game making him feel better about himself. After giving up on Scrabble, we switched to playing Sorry. We had to stop that too, because I couldn't handle the mental toll of continuously beating him at Sorry. Another time, we went to a board game night with some friends, and he couldn't understand the rules for most of the board games, and afterwards vented to me about how stupid the games were and why there was no point having rules. So complicated, no one could grasp them. He was the only one who couldn't grasp them. Other times, we'd play casual stuff like air hockey or foosball, which I didn't think even required any strategy other than spinning the little plastic dudes really fast, and he'd still lose every time and get upset about it. I don't care about winning, I just want to have fun, and it feels like it's impossible to have fun because playing anything with him feels like he's playing against a goddamn 5-year-old. But wait, this thread isn't entitled My Boyfriend is Terrible at Games, so here's some other stuff. His internet stopped working a while back, so he called me and I told him to use his mobile data to download the troubleshooting manual for his router and see if he could fix it. He didn't manage, so I went to his place later and found he downloaded the manual for the wrong router. It wasn't even for the right brand. I ended up fixing his problem, and then he ranted to me about how all these router manufacturers make their manuals so hard to use, like there's some sort of deliberate conspiracy to keep everyone in perpetual confusion unless they're a genius. I'm not a genius, I'm just capable of following simple written instructions. Also, he wanted to go back to school to do a master's degree, but he needs some pre-requirements, including math unit where he's struggling with a lot of material. But as far as I can tell, it's all stuff he learned in high school. Lately, he's been posting Facebook updates about how hard it is to learn logarithms. My school covered logarithms in grade 9, and even though I can't remember how to do them off the top of my head, I don't recall them being particularly hard at the time. And aside from that, I'm getting tired of being expected to be as sympathetic when increasingly I just want to yell, well, maybe if you weren't such a dumbass. But even if I hint that maybe he should be able to deal with his own emotions, for example, honey, I know you couldn't get the pizza though the shape you wanted, but it's not a huge deal in the shape scheme of things, right? I get accused of being unsympathetic to his feelings. Well, what about my feelings? That I don't want constant rolling coverage of every tiny thing that bothers you. But he's also an incredibly sweet, hardworking person who treats me well, and his boss and co workers all say he doesn't just work hard but is actually really competent at his job. And he did pretty well in high school. And he's living on his own since he was 16 and kept himself alive the whole time. And no one has ever said or hinted to me, gee, your boyfriend is kind of a dumbass. So what the fuck? Is it just me? Am I the crazy one? Am I a bitch? Then the thread actually gets updated on September 6th, 2 months later. And it basically goes, I'll save you some scrolling. We broke up. This is a pretty long and rambling and probably not even relevant, but typing it out helps me sort it out in my head. So you might as well all come along for the ride. So more background. My ex graduated with a degree in biomedicine last year, but never actually looked for work in his field. As far as I know, this didn't strike me as a problem at first since he's always taken care of himself just fine, and he never seemed that enthusiastic about his degree anyway. I spent several years after high school working odd jobs while I figured out what to do with my life. Most of the way through nursing school now. So who am I to judge, right? But gradually, I got more and more of a sinking feeling about things, mostly because he kept talking about how he wanted to get a PhD and become a professor, and I felt professorship was pretty optimistic goal for even the most brilliant of students. But how do you tell your boyfriend you think their dreams are wildly unrealistic? So he decided he was going back for his master's. Cool. After I posted the original thread, I realized I'd never really spoken to him about his negativity while we were both calm. So I sat him down one day and told him that while I was going to be there for him in times of real distress, I couldn't take all of his complaining anymore. About his coworkers, about his housemates and losing at games. About the train system, about the math, about the arts major. Apparently, they all work at Starbucks. The one time I pointed out the irony of this, he went really quiet and later told me I really hurt his feelings. And to not strike such low blows in the future, guess I missed a hell of a red flag. I told him it was exhausting to constantly have to attend to one crisis or the other, and that perhaps he could benefit from seeing a therapist. In addition to everything else, he's also had depression on and off, but I figured it was a good chance for him to learn better coping skills. Well, that didn't go over well at all. He immediately accused me of not caring about his feelings and that he should be able to say whatever he wanted to me and psychologists. Just want to give you happy pills to make you think like everyone else. When I told him psychologists aren't licensed to prescribe medication, he went silent for a while and said, "It doesn't matter. They still just want to convince you it's fine to be a loser and everything's okay with you." I asked him if he thought he was a loser, and he said he doesn't think he's a loser. He just thinks it's important to stay aware of your flaws and punish yourself when you mess up, which is why he runs so much. What? At this point, I end the conversation because I don't know what the fuck to say. The other thing that had been bothering me progressively more is that he's currently taking units so he can start his master's next semester. But it struck me as kind of weird that he had to take math and science pre-requirements instead, considering he already had a degree in biomedicine. I'm pretty sure he graduated. He has a photo of himself in his gown on Facebook. But every time I tried to ask, he'd hand wave it away like he was hiding something. Of all the problems in our relationship, this was the one that made me feel like I might be nuts. Because for all I know, there was a perfectly simple explanation. But why the evasiveness? Anyway, reading back, I wrote, feels super weird because there's a lot of crazy shit and it's like, well, sure, what happened? But it wasn't like that. But maybe it was. After my failed attempt at making at talking, I felt like a giant dumbass for not realizing the relationship was doomed from the start. But I was dreading actually breaking up with him until the boat ride. So, in my town, there's a few places you can hire a little sailboat for an hour and sail around on the water in the summer. Fun couples activity, right? Before the horrible talk, we had made plans to do this, and he didn't know I was going to break up with him, and I was still clinging to the hope of fixing our relationship. So, we went sailing. All went well for about 10 minutes until we had to turn the boat, and of course, turning a sailboat can be tricky if you've never done it before. As we're trying and failing to turn the boat, I can see him getting more and more agitated. I try to lighten the mood by joking about our struggles, and he replies with something like, "Oh, sure, it's fine to be shitty at things. Who needs standards? And I should have known not to expect to be good at sailing." I tell him there's no reason he needs to be good at something. We're never just doing for fun, and to just try to enjoy the activity. Something that I'm sick of saying, and he's evidently sick of hearing because it sets him off on one of his rants about how he can't do anything right and how people who don't care how well they do are dumbasses. Everyone is a dumbass. I just want him to be happy with being a dumbass. The boat is stupid. Sailboats are stupid. Our town is unreasonably windy, and so on and so forth. After that, he's too upset to talk and snaps at me every time I ask him to hold a rope or whatever. all because he had trouble turning a fucking higher boat. So I turned to him, yelled, "You're dumped," jumped into the water, and swam back to shore. This woman's crazy. Anyways, just kidding. I only did that in my imagination. Oh, okay. I broke up with him a couple of days later. Okay, so this next Reddit story is from /best of Redditor updates, and it goes, "Am I the asshole for ratting out my assistant colleague and getting her fired to save my own job? I know how it sounds, but please read before you judge. I'm a 30-year-old male, and I've worked at my current employer for 3 years. Last year, March of 2020, I received a promotion to project manager. In the beginning, everything went well, but in the last month, I've been getting more and more negative feedback. I did not understand what was going on or why people were becoming so negative about me. I was losing clients, and several colleagues were really upset with me. I was at loss. I started talking to my manager and my department head about following courses, getting monthly feedback to perform better. I just wanted to live up to the promotion I received. I felt like I was failing. Then a friend, 27-year-old female of mine, came to me angry and demanded that I apologize for what I said. I was really confused and I asked her why she was so upset with me. She explained she received an email where I was basically blaming her for the issues that I was dealing with. This was an email a client forwarded her. I was at a loss and explained I've never sent out an email like that and if she could show me. She did, and it had my name, my address, and everything seemed like it was from me. But I never sent it. Then it clicked with me. My assistant, 39-year-old female, has access to my email and has the ability to send as me. She's also the only one that had these rights. I was flabbergasted, and so much started to make sense. She was next in line for my job and did not receive the promotion. I did. I checked all her sent emails on her PC while she was out for lunch and saw dozens of emails sent as it was me. An email still open on her screen showed my email address and a written message to my clients with misinformation, passive aggressiveness, and straight up lies. These were sent out under my name. I made screenshots and sent them to myself, then went to my manager and head of department. They were pissed. She was fired the same day. I was relieved and all my colleagues were informed. I thought I was completely in the right here, but some people at work are complaining that I violated company policy for snooping on her computer. I'm violating her privacy. My boss and direct colleagues have my back, but the people that knew her, she has worked there since 2011 and I've only been there since 2018, say I went too far. Apparently, she's a single mother with 2 kids and needed this job. I also needed this job, and she was more than willing to sacrifice me for her benefit. I don't see how I could be in the wrong for defending myself. Maybe I'm just too close to the situation to see it? Did I go too far by going on her computer? And then we have 2 replies to what he said and a follow-up. And this one guy says, "You're not the asshole. She was trying to screw over your career through lies and deceptions, and you caught her, and she received the correct punishment for her actions." And the other one says, "Also, it wasn't her PC, it was the company's computer, so specifically not a personal computer. Many companies have the authority for a manager, supervisor, or superior of some form to access the company equipment if needed. You accessed her work accounts, which ended up being your own account. She was angering clients and your coworkers. Everyone who was mad at you should have been mad at her." And then another one says, "You didn't get her fired. She did it to yourself. Someone would have figured it out eventually. She chose to risk her job and endanger the business with her deceitful behavior. Losing her position is a natural consequence of her choices, not the asshole. I hope you are able to continue to repair your reputation from the damage she caused." And then the guy updates, "They just let me know they are holding a meeting to clarify what happened exactly. They were catching on to the people that weren't happy about her being fired, and they went to quell any issues before they started taking root. I'll update you again once the meeting is over. It's in an hour and 20 minutes from now. Okay, so final update the next day. Update 2. Meeting took about an hour and a half, and after that I was in and out of talks with colleagues and other people. I was properly explained that what she was doing and has done to me and the company. The attitude towards me noticeably changed in a positive direction, with a lot of people apologizing to me and explaining they've known for years, were friends, and could not imagine she actually did something like this. Honestly, I'm happy it ended up this way. Human HR and my boss really had my back here and preemptively handled to avoid any negativity. Nothing but praise for them. I've requested some time off, which was approved, and I'll be home for a week starting next week. Per my request/advice, they are also going to revise or at least look at the company policy regarding other people's emails and other security issues I've noticed. It'll probably be the last update for now. I might make an update post if anything significant happens. Thank you all again. The next story is, am I overreacting for thinking my girlfriend might be cheating? I'm a 25-year-old male, and my girlfriend, 24-year-old female of 4 years, accidentally texted me saying she was going to fly to see me to give me kisses. I was confused because she wouldn't need to fly to give me kisses when she's explained. And when she explained her side, she told me she thought she was replying to her platonic childhood female friend, who I've never heard of. She often she often tells me about all her friends and their gossip. The more I thought about her story, the more it didn't make sense, so she tried to gaslight me. And I talked myself into believing her, despite my gut feeling telling me otherwise. Thanks everyone who helped me in the original post. In hindsight, I seemed delusional, but I think I was really in shock and trying to justify her story in my head. I left halfway through work today to go to her house after she started ignoring my texts and calls. Turns out she did block me temporarily. I packed up all her stuff in my car before I visited her, in case she confessed. I tried to have a calm conversation with her about it, and she got mad, saying I was accusing her of cheating. When I asked to see any proof that Penny, the friend, existed, she freaked out, and when I suggested specific ways to prove it, started crying and admitted to actively cheating on me with 2 people. The one she thought she sent the text to lives in another state, and she met him through her friend while he was visiting our city last year. During this time, they went on a few dates and would make out a bit if it never went further than that. And some of her friends knew about it. The other one was online only, but she was sexting him on FaceTime and sending nudes. I got all my stuff from her house, so I didn't need to go back later. And after I left, she unblocked me and sent me, "You're throwing this away for what?" and spamming lots of pics of us. My screenshots here start right after the many pics of us. I ended up blocking her on everything right after I sent that final text and plan on going no contact. She is already telling our mutual friends that I cheated, so I'm dreading the drama that might happen with our friend group. Her friends are texting me saying I'm a douche for wanting to move on so quickly. I don't plan on getting into any other relationship for a long time. Even the friends who knew she was going on dates with that guy are trying to rationalize it by saying it's not that bad and I'm overreacting. Plus her mom called me to yell at me for cheating, but I explained it all to her, though I don't think she believes me. But that's fine, as I'll likely never see her again. I'm just going to try and move on and maybe cut off any friends that cause more drama about it, which I'm okay with because all my main close friends believe me. Some of them said they got toxic, controlling vibes from her, but didn't want to say anything as I wouldn't have listened or seen what they meant. Sounds about right, to be honest. I read almost every single comment, if not all, and it made me realize how subtly toxic our relationship was, even though I didn't realize it until now because nothing major ever happened. Also, by the way, I will read the text, so keep listening. I saw a comment about Darvo, and it applied to every time we had conflict. She would cry and then accuse me of something random I wasn't doing. I also saw a comment saying it seems like I'm walking on eggshells, and now that I was because I always did whatever made her happy, even if it was wrong or made me upset, just so I could avoid being yelled at. I'm not usually this passive with my friends or at work, but I really loved her, so I guess I had a soft spot for her. I think I definitely got conditioned over the 4 years to become a yes man, and now I see our whole relationship and our interactions in a different way. I'm absolutely devastated that this happened considering we were about to move in 2 months' time, and I was planning on proposing after a year of living together. I'm just glad I know now rather than later. Thanks again for everyone who talked sense into me, even the harsh ones. Lol, I really did need it. Okay, so reading the actual text messages, he starts off by saying, I'd rather leave, be amicable. Okay, so it starts off with him saying, I'd rather leave, be amicable because of all our friends. Us be amicable. And then she says, You're actually whack ass for throwing us away over nothing. I can't believe I wasted 4 fucking years with you, and you can't even give me another chance after I've known you for so long. You're actually so heatless. She can't spell heartless, and dumbass. And then he says, Honestly, if you're not going to stop, I'll block you. I'm getting really tired of this and I want to try and move on. And then she goes, Actually, KYS, fucking asshole. And then he says, And I'll sort out all the house stuff tomorrow. She continues, Yeah, you want to block me to move on to the next bitch. You fucking projecting cheater. You wanted to find a reason to break up with me because you're probably cheating and have been for the whole 4 years. There is no way. Now she's throwing it all on him as if he did this. And I never did anything like the actual sex while you're probably actually fucking everyone you meet. You probably have sex with every woman at work on night shift. Who the fuck works 12-hour overnight shifts when most people work 8 hours? Probably people that want to make money. You probably are using 4 hours to cheat. Thanks for wasting my time. Just remember, you're the one who is breaking us apart because you have forgiveness issues, while I never physically had sex. What? And she also says again, if other couples can forgive each other for actual sex, then you can just forgive me for kissing another guy, you know? It's not that even a big deal in comparison to your treating me like I did that to you. What? And then he says again, blocking you. Wish you the best. I'll email you anything regarding the house, but it should all be fine. Projecting that I'm cheating after you were caught cheating is interesting, but I've slept on it. And I'm not going to give you a second chance for something you shouldn't have done in the first place. And I'd rather be with someone that values me enough to be honest, even if that takes a while to find. You couldn't even at least come up with a better lie. But whatever, not my problem anymore. Now this one will really get you hooked. It goes, for months I was confused why I kept finding long hairs in my house. Then I saw my neighbor coming out of my house. I'm a man in my 20s that lives alone on the very top floor of an apartment block. I've had short hair for the last 10 years of my life. The longest hair on my head is maybe an inch long, if that even. However, across my house, I kept finding long hairs on the floor, like long brunette hairs, at least 5-6 inches, sometimes longer. And they would be everywhere: bathroom floor, in the shower, in my cupboard, in my kitchen, on old clothes, living room floor, and sofas, so on and so forth. I've been single since November and clean often enough that I'm certain it's not my ex-girlfriend's hair. Plus the color doesn't match anyway. She had solid black hair, while these are more a light brunette. Plus, finding them in places like the shower, where running water is hitting all the sides 5+ times a week. Anyway, I've waved it off as, well, I work with other people and use the gym and bus sometimes, so naturally hairs are going to stick to my clothes, right? Well, one day, this past April, I finished my early AM gym session and got the call that I didn't have to go to work that day. So naturally, I started to walk home all happy that I have the day to myself. I'm on the 5th floor, the uppermost floor of the building, and the apartment is in such a way that there is only one apartment per floor. I start to hustle up the stairs and don't use the elevator since I'm sweaty from the gym anyway. Just as I whip a right to go up to the last set of stairs from the 4th floor to the 5th floor, I see my neighbors on the 3rd floor. Daughter coming down the stairs. We lock eye contact. We've never spoken before, mostly because we've never had a reason to, but also because of respect. I didn't want to make her uncomfortable since she is 19, 21-ish, and I'm slightly older. The most interaction we've had is that I've spoken to her mother and father before when bumping into each other on the stairs. I gave a confused hello. At this point, I'm thinking that she maybe went to knock on my door to ask for something, a cup of sugar, maybe, I don't know. I was expecting her to reply with something like, "Oh, hi, do you have any XYZ?" Nope. She gave me a silent hey and brushed right past me. And only then, when the smell of my own shampoo hit me, did I notice her hair was wet, like fresh out the shower a minute ago wet. Now, I'm not saying she showered in my house or that I have a stalker that's been living in my house while I've been at work. She very easily could have been there to ask for something, and most generic brand shampoos smell the same. But don't the pieces all fit a bit too well? Her hair color matches the hair that I would find around my apartment, and like I said before, they were everywhere. In my bed, too, in my socks drawer. And if it is the case of me having a stalker, how did she know I came home early enough to bolt out the shower in time? Our apartment doesn't have cameras. It's an older building from before 2000. And why would she be stalking me? For how long has she been doing this? We've never dated, never had a proper conversation. I maybe saw her 20 times in the past 2 years, given that I work and she presumably studies or works too. As all these thoughts are buzzing through my head, and I'm standing outside my door for a solid 2 minutes grappling with what had just happened, I go to turn the key to my door and it opens without me having to unlock it. And I know for a fact I always double lock my door. It's the type with a lock near waist level and the second more secure lock with a different key around shoulder level. I drop my bag, throw off my shoes, and run to the shower. And yep, it's wet. I hadn't showered since yesterday morning. I'm a confrontational person. Not that I was looking for fights, but I'll definitely pursue an answer if it is something that bugs me. So back down the stairs to the 3rd floor I went, knocked on the door of my apartment stalker and her family. She opens the door, but with the chain still on. I see half of her face from behind the door. Yes? Can I help you? Were you at my door or inside? I don't want to make this a police thing now, but you came down the stairs and I know you were inside. I just had to get something. It won't happen again. Okay, bye. See you. Door closed. This happened last month. I've been cleaning my house every weekend closely now and got the locks changed and put a motion sensor camera above my door. It only films and triggers on the steps coming up to my door so the fourth apartments still have their privacy. So far, so good. I don't think she's been inside since, but looking back, I think she'd been living or going in or whatever into my apartment since January because that's my earliest memory of finding hairs. She never took anything of value like my laptop or the few watches I have. Seemingly, she just showered and ate food and laid in my bed. I I now also always take the elevator and avoid the third floor like the plague. Edit. I'm not really worried about my safety because I'm 200 pounds, do a lot of fighting training, and 2, the new camera has never gone off since installed, other than myself triggering it when I'm home. Finally, 3, I told the old retired husband and the wife on the fourth floor that I suspected a robber was trying to break into my apartment last month. I didn't want to start spreading rumors and gossip, and asked them to keep an ear out when I'm at work. I feel fine and safe, just creeped out, like my personal space has been violated. Edit 2. Someone DM'd me to check my coats and bags for AirTags as to how maybe she knew I was coming home early that day. I don't have a lot of stuff, so I think I would have 100% found it by now, given how often I clean, but I'll defo do another sweep of my stuff. The Redditor actually gives us an update, and he says, update following my last post a week back about me catching a neighbor coming out of my apartment having used my shower. My cousin's husband is a police officer, so I went to him directly about filing a report. He came over to my apartment first as I gave him a visual breakdown of what happened on the stairs and changes, odd things I'd noticed in my apartment since January. Primarily, just hairs everywhere and missing food, and how my door was unlocked that day, though I did a thorough clean following the event on the stairs. My police friend was able to still find some hairs, and so he bagged those up. I gave him my statement in detail, some dates, best I could, when I remember finding the first hair, when I first noticed food going missing, etc. Also, he advised me not to talk to the family, not even with a friend, to avoid any confusion or get lawyers involved or muddy the waters with accusations. With all that done, he left and came back 2-3 days later. He and his partner went to talk to the family on Sunday because they knew both parents would likely be home then. Long story short, she confessed to everything immediately and broke down in tears and apologized once my police friend brought up how 5 months of entering someone's house with keys is still very much an offense, and she could easily end up with a sentence of some should I pursue it, and that the sentence could very easily involve the inside of a jail cell, irregardless of it she stole something or not. I don't know how true this is. It might have just been my friend and his partner pressing and exaggerating for a confession, but it worked. They talked for an hour with the parents and her in the same room to get answers from her. Then the same day he came up to mine with his partner and gave me the breakdown. Answers to commonly asked questions below. How did she get in or have her own keys? The lock on her doors are the type that use a code on the lock barrel that only the manufacturer or partnered approved locksmiths have access to. She knew this because her parents got the locks changed when they first moved in, and in fact, she used the same locksmith from all the way back then. The locksmith presumably remembered the family and apartment, but didn't pay attention to it being the fifth floor this time instead of her own third floor. So he came over and took the barrel out, saw the code, went and made a set of keys, and done. I was none the wiser. Both my locks on my door are different brands, but presumably they operate in the same way. So having 2 locks made no difference whatsoever. What was she doing in my apartment? Anyone who said she just needed space, you were right. She was She has two younger step siblings, and her mother is a tutor, not a teacher, as I presumed previously. She tutors at home, so at any given point, there's always some kids around the house. She would say to her parents she was going out to study or work or a girlfriend's house, and use my house as a hotel while she studied or relaxed. The reason she used mine was partly because she knew it would be empty, but also because my schedule was predictable, as I work an average 9 to 5 like everyone else, but leave the house at 6:30 to get the gym. Done to that essentially gave her the house from 6 to 5. How long? My guess was right. Started in January when she figured I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time around November. My girlfriend would stay at mine when I went to work and back sometimes, so yeah, that would have made an interesting situation if they had crossed paths. So then, how did she know when you were coming home early that day and that I wasn't going to work straight after gym like usual? And she bolted out the shower. Or on the days I didn't go gym, how did she know not to come in? Twofold. Firstly, I had a commercial gym in my country, so they had an app. Irregardless of it, if you're a member or not, one of the things the app lets you see is how many people are in each branch, so you can see how full it is. All you have to do is download it and scan the QR code on the entrance by the turnstiles to add it to My Gyms tab. It literally shows you like branch number 21, the address, 9 out of 50, 18% full. She would refresh the app in the morning, and if it went up by 1 around 6 to 6:30 a.m. and she heard me go downstairs or use the elevator, not hard when at 6 a.m. and the apartment is otherwise silent. Then she would know the house is empty. Now for the creepiest, most messed up bit of it all. She had put an AirTag on my car. She insisted that she had only put it recently and initially just presumably gambled that wouldn't be home sooner than expected. Or maybe she had put an ear to the door. But then one thing led to another, and yeah, I don't know how much I believe this. Again, this could be an attempt to not look so guilty. That day when we clashed, she refreshed the app and saw I left the gym. But then my car didn't move. She connected the dots and tried to leave as soon as possible. When she heard me coming up the stairs, she didn't have time to lock up, so we met on the stairs with my door remaining closed but not locked. Extra detail, the AirTag was stuck to under my car. Using my shower, she claims she didn't do it always, just on hot days or days she couldn't at home. I can't deny or confirm this. Like I said previously, being a gym goer, I'd shower 5 plus times a week, so how did her parents never notice? Well, the dad leaves for work early, 5 a.m. ish, since his bus route starts around 6. The mom is up around 6 to 7, but since she's preparing for her own students for the day, plus her own kids to send to school, she wasn't too bothered that her eldest 20-year-old daughter was doing, really. She'd just say, I'm going to the college library or I'm going to my girlfriend's, and that was good enough. Did she have a thing for me, like a crush? My police friend didn't really say anything about this. Presumably, he never asked, since it's not as important as other details. Where it never came back, it makes little difference. How's my standings with the family right now? The mum and dad both apologized to me. The mum via text and dad in person at my door. He offered to pay for the camera I installed as his daughter was the direct cause of it, but it was cheap off Amazon, so I said no, it's fine. We had a 10-15 minute conversation and he was very apologetic and explained his daughter had always been extremely quiet and well behaved, so something like this would have never crossed his mind in a million years. He added that his daughter never had a boyfriend, at least that he knows of, and only has a few friends, so her social interactions aren't necessarily top notch, and that even guests would come, she'd hide away in the spare room. So the few people who predicted that maybe COVID and lockdown led to her not having good social interaction, you were half right. He again offered me money for my troubles like missing food, new locks, and cleaning, etc. but I felt bad enough already, I declined. He did also ask if I would press charges, and I said no. More on that below. He said he will send his daughter to apologize to me in person too, when the situation's calmed down, as she's apparently very, very tense and upset and hasn't left her room in days. Am I going to press charges? No, I'm still not happy about the situation, especially the fucking AirTag on my car. But the family is apologetic as well, as the culprit herself, and honestly, no one is going to gain anything from this. I would like an apology though. For anyone that cares about the extra detail, she got the AirTag as a gift while back from her parents because she kept losing her stuff. Have I seen her since? No. She apparently won't leave her room and is terrified that I'll press charges, though presumably her family told her I said I won't. How do I currently feel? Well, I was never especially worked or nervous, just really creeped out about the whole situation. It felt like I'd been a parasite and somehow never noticed until then. I currently still feel a little angry, and a small part of me is thinking to seem revenge. But any revenge I seek, like money or slander, is truthfully going to impact the parents more than her. Do I feel bad for her? Truthfully, no. She's not 10, she's 20 or something, and educated, so yeah, she should be remorseful, feel guilty, and scared. Get over that hump and we'll talk. Plus, there are loads of spaces for young adults like public libraries and college spaces. By no means was my house the only viable option. Finally, did she use my bed? Or wear my clothes? Believe it or not, yes, she did. Any advice I can give? Check your Wi Fi devices. If I had checked that, I would have noticed her phone and laptop all the way back then. Obviously, my Wi Fi modem is in my house, and so she helped herself to that. Again, it's one of those things, how often does one check their Wi Fi devices? Truthfully, with all my family visiting me and their devices, I wouldn't have probably noticed one extra phone amongst the existing 10 plus, but I 100% would have noticed the extra laptop. So let that be a lesson to all. And yes, I've removed all her devices and changed my password. Okay, so this story is a bit more upsetting, but basically the title goes Fired by Centauri Health Solutions while burying my dad who died of stage 4 cancer. Here's my response to HR. The email starts off by Hi Dana, thank you for taking the time to meticulously log the timeline of my family's crisis. It is truly reassuring to know, while my family was going through the heaviest week of our lives, Centauri Health Solutions was running numbers on the operational impact. I would hate for my real world trauma to cause any further undue hardship to your revenue producing metrics. I'm currently out of town until next week. Rest assured, your equipment will be packed up and shipped back using the provided labels as soon as I return, ensuring the business can swiftly recover from the devastating burden of employing a human being. No need to send the frequently asked questions. The status of Centauri's priorities is perfectly clear. Kind regards. And then that was the screenshot, and he continues to say in the thread, a lot of people asked me to name the company. It's Centauri Health Solutions. They claim to be a compassionate health advocacy company, but their corporate response to my dad passing away from stage 4 cancer was to send me a calculated timeline of my family's crisis to justify letting me go. I'm currently out of town dealing with everything, but I wasn't going to let them have the last word. Attached is the email response I gave to the HMC manager. I'm moving forward, playing my part for my family, and refusing to carry any bitterness into the world for those people. Screw them. Okay, and last but not least, this is the last one. So stick around because it gets very interesting. Will I be the asshole for suing my friend when she didn't come to my wedding? I'm a 25-year-old female, recently got married to my 25-year-old male husband in Bali, Indonesia in January. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane ticket and hotel. But we paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays. Each plane ticket was about $2,000 and hotel maybe about 150, 300 for a week. My friend Gemma brought along her newlywed husband, John, along but paid for his plane ticket. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took the free plane ticket to Bali and the hotel room. When I asked her why she didn't show up, she said that since they couldn't afford their own honeymoon, that this was a perfect opportunity, and that Jim decided that he wouldn't feel like going. I was really hurt by this, since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. Will I be the asshole if I took her to a small claims court for the money I spent on plane ticket and hotel? Update: I messaged Gemma per multiple comments, advising me to invoice her for the plane ticket and the hotel room. But I did something a little better. I wanted to get proof, so if I had to go to court, it would be easier for me to win. I messaged her this: "Hey, sorry for being so distant, but I just wanted to talk to you about Bali. I'm hurt that you didn't show up to the ceremony. I pulled a lot of strings to ensure that you could come, then you didn't show up. Did you think that I paid for the trip just so you could honeymoon with John?" She replied with, "I've missed you a lot, and I know the trip was for your wedding, but John didn't want to go because he felt like your wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being our honeymoon, and that you'd understand." I replied with, "No, I don't understand. You took advantage of me. That's not what real friends do. So I'm sending you an invoice for $2,387.53 for the cost of the plane ticket and hotel room. I will give you 30 days, and after that, I will be taking legal action." I received no response, but she's been posting subliminal quotes on Instagram that are along the lines of entitled friends and having snakes in your life. Thank you for all the verdicts and help. Update part 2. I didn't think this could get worse, but here we are. I didn't respond to any of the subliminal messages she posted about me on social media. I've been very quiet while I've been getting my ducks in a row for the litigation. But this past Friday, she sent me a 3-page audit of financial and emotional contributions from 2015 to the present. I wish I was fucking joking. The audits, she itemized every dinner or lunch we've ate together. She's estimated $18 per meal. Gas money for driving to and from hangouts. A birthday gift from 2017 that she now claims she went in debt for. Time spent emotionally supporting me after my dad passed. She said that took on the role of a grief counselor for me, even though I talked to her on the phone about it once for 30 minutes. One time she helped me move apartments. She wants to be paid for her labor. And emotional distress caused by me threatening litigation. Her grand total? $2,412.09, which is conveniently $25 of what I invoiced her. She then told me that if we're keeping the score, that I actually owe her $24.56. I think I stared at the documents for 10 minutes in silence and shock from the audacity, because this bitch is delusional. To clarify, I've never asked her to cook for me while I was in college. She did pay for our lunches, but when I finally returned the favor, big time once I graduated, I brought her many gifts over the years. I've let her stay at my house several times when she and John argued, and I've also lended her a shoulder to cry on when she had difficult times in life. But apparently, being a friend is now billable. I decided to give the message a thumbs down because if I respond, I will be extremely disrespectful with the anger I'm facing. I cannot wait for these 30 days to be over because I will be suing the fuck out of her. Final update. Sorry that I haven't updated in a while. I've been trying to get my ducks in a row before I proceeded with everything. While doing that, I was going through photos from Bali and ended up on an Instagram page of a local photographer who took pictures of me and my husband whilst during a sailing excursion we went on. I was scrolling through their page and looking at random groups when I saw a very familiar face. It was Gemma and a man, and it wasn't John. It was a man I had never seen before. There were multiple photos. One where they were just sitting with drinks, one with Gemma and the guy wrapping his arm around her, and one of them kissing. That's when everything clicked. My wedding was the day after everyone landed, which is why I never saw her at all. Not at the hotel, not around town, nothing. I just assumed she was trying to lie down around town to avoid a confrontation with me. She didn't skip my wedding because John didn't feel like going or that my wedding ruined the illusion of the trip being their honeymoon. She skipped it because she wasn't there with John, but another man. After seeing this photo of her and her affair partner, I decided to do my own detective work. I went to her Instagram page and tried to see if I could find the guy's Instagram page in her following list or follower list. Nada. I tried to see if any guy that remotely looked like him was in her likes or comments. Nope, I felt defeated until I remembered about Gemma's small pottery Instagram account. And boom, I found him. Let's say his name is Ryan. Ryan had several photos that were taken in Bali on his page. He even had a photo of himself in the hotel room that I paid for. I was beyond pissed and just wanted to get my money back and just be done with Gemma altogether. On the day of our court date, I told my side, showed the judge the text messages, and explained that I paid for her trip and she could attend my wedding, and she didn't show up. Gemma claimed that the trip was a gift for her new marriage and not contingent on attending. I didn't even have to bring up the fact that she didn't bring John because the judge didn't buy Gemma's story. I was awarded the full amount back. Gemma walked out of the courtroom without even looking at me. I know she was pissed, and as expected, she went straight to Instagram, and this time she didn't hold back at all. She started posting about me on her story, calling me a bitch, saying that I can't have kids, posting photos of me calling me fat, saying that she'll go spit on the grave of my dead grandmother. Just diabolical, mean girl stuff. The last time she brought our drama to social media, I ignored it, but not this time. I know what I did was stooping to her level, but I didn't care. I posted the photo of her kissing Ryan on my story and tagged her and John in it. Oh my days. I captioned it, "Sorry, we missed you in Bali. Hope you had so much fun." This girl is crazy. That's some really good revenge though. Within minutes, she began spamming my phone. She was calling, texting, leaving voicemails, screaming at me. And before I blocked her on everything, I messaged her one last time. I said, "You should have just come to the wedding." That was, damn, that was something else. But yeah, anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, if you have any requests or if you want me to read any other stories, or actually even if you have personal stories, feel free to send them along. I'll tag my email down in the comments. And yeah, until next time.